Welcome to B News, your ultimate source for real-life royal love stories, hidden palace secrets, and the unforgettable moments that changed history. Today, we reveal a romance that defied tradition, shattered expectations, and stirred an entire nation. This is not just a fairy tale, this is a story of resistance, courage, and a prince who chose love over legacy. This is the untold story of how Prince Frederik of Denmark, heir to one of Europe's oldest monarchies, fell in love with a woman the royal establishment didn't approve of, and refused to let her go. In the year 2000, Denmark's Crown Prince Frederik met Mary Donaldson, a marketing executive from Hobart, Tasmania, during the Sydney Olympics. The moment was entirely unplanned. They met in a crowded pub called the Slip-In, surrounded by friends and laughter, not the typical setting for royal courtship. But something extraordinary happened that night. For Frederik, it wasn't about lineage, status, or protocol, it was about a connection. And for Mary, it wasn't about titles. She had no idea he was a prince. What followed was a whirlwind romance that would eventually shake the very foundations of the Danish royal family. Behind palace walls, the crown prince's new relationship was met with alarm. Denmark's monarchy, known for its adherence to tradition and stoicism, had never seen anything quite like this. Royal advisors worried about Mary's lack of noble blood, her foreign citizenship, and her career-oriented lifestyle. To them, she represented everything the crown was not. For centuries, royals had married within aristocracy, forming alliances through bloodlines, not heartstrings. Mary, charming as she was, did not fit that mold. The resistance came swiftly and silently. Sources close to the royal court reported that key members of the royal family were cautious, if not outright opposed. Diplomats and advisors voiced concerns about Mary's outsider status. Would she embrace the rigid traditions of Denmark's constitutional monarchy? Could she withstand the pressures of royal duty under constant public scrutiny? For Frederik, these questions didn't matter. He knew what he felt, and he was prepared to fight for it. Frederik's love for Mary wasn't passive. In private, he defended her at every turn. In public, he remained tight-lipped, even as media speculation exploded across Europe. Danish tabloids began tracking Mary's every move. Headlines questioned her suitability. Was she princess material? Would the Danish people accept her? Through it all, Mary remained calm and composed. She began learning Danish, studying royal customs, and quietly transforming herself, not to please anyone, but to show she belonged. Meanwhile, Frederik faced pressure not just from his family, but from the Danish government and royal advisors. As the future king, his marriage would symbolize the values of the crown. Some feared that marrying a commoner might weaken the monarchy's influence or disrupt its carefully curated image. But Frederik wasn't interested in optics. He saw in Mary what no title could give him: authenticity, strength, and unconditional support. The emotional toll was enormous. According to close friends, Frederik often felt torn between duty and love. In moments of despair, he wondered if it was even possible to have both. But the more resistance he faced, the more determined he became. He famously told his mother, Queen Margrethe II, "I will not live a life dictated by others' expectations. I want a partner, not a symbol." It was a bold statement, one that would echo through the halls of Amalienborg Palace for years. Slowly, Frederik's commitment began to shift perceptions. His loyalty to Mary demonstrated to the court and the public that this was no fling. It was love. Not performative, not political. Just real. When the Queen finally met Mary, she was reportedly surprised by her poise, warmth, and intelligence. Over time, skepticism gave way to acceptance. The royal court began to recognize that Mary wasn't just suitable, she was extraordinary. In October 2003, their engagement was officially announced. Frederik proposed with a custom-designed ring, an emerald-cut diamond flanked by 2 rubies, the colors of Denmark's national flag. The symbolism was clear. He was choosing not just a wife, but a future, one that included Mary at its very heart. The Danish people, once skeptical, erupted with joy. Overnight, Mary became a national sensation. On May 14, 2004, the couple married in a grand yet deeply emotional ceremony at Copenhagen Cathedral. The wedding was watched by millions around the world. As Mary walked down the aisle in her ivory satin gown, eyes glistened across the nation. But it was Frederik's voice that captured hearts everywhere when he whispered to her at the altar, "You've made me whole." Those 5 words silenced every doubt, every critic, every voice that once said it couldn't happen. But royal life was not a fairy tale from that point on. Mary had to adjust to a life under constant watch. She immersed herself in public service, mastering her new role with grace and discipline. Her initiatives focused on mental health, children's welfare, and women's rights, causes close to her heart and far from the expectations of traditional royal consorts. She was redefining royalty on her own terms. Together, Frederik and Mary became a symbol of modern monarchy, grounded in love, not lineage. Their union bridged cultures, continents, and class. In a world where royal marriages are often seen as strategic alliances, theirs was different. It was real, imperfect, and deeply human. And that's what made it revolutionary. In the years that followed, the couple welcomed 4 children, Prince Christian, Princess Isabella, and twins Prince Vincent and Princess Josephine. Through it all, they remained a team, supporting each other through parenthood, royal duties, and personal challenges. They grew not just as public figures, but as individuals, partners, and parents. The strength of their bond became evident not in grand gestures, but in the quiet moments, the way they looked at each other at public events, the way they spoke of one another in interviews. When Frederik ascended the throne in January 2024, Mary became queen consort. It marked the beginning of a new era in Danish history, one defined not by tradition alone, but by transformation. The girl from Hobart who once worked in a Sydney office was now one of the most admired royals in the world. And the prince who defied tradition to marry her had become a king loved not just for his title, but for his courage to follow his heart. Their story continues to inspire millions around the globe. It's a reminder that royal love doesn't always come easily, but when it's worth it, you fight for it. Through scandal, resistance, and relentless public pressure, Frederik and Mary proved that even royalty cannot contain the power of true connection. In the face of history, they chose each other. And in doing so, they changed what monarchy could mean in the 21st century. So here's the question we leave you with. If you had to risk it all for love, even your legacy, would you be brave enough to do it? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to B News for more powerful royal stories just like this one.